Ladies and gents, we have another odd one for you, at least formation-wise. Let's check it out. This one is called Crackseeds 4114. It apparently is the final version. The maker of this, Ghetto Gentleman, I love that name, has apparently tweaked it enough that he is very happy with his version and it seems to work very well. He did use Manchester United, however. I will just say that right there. But after many hours of trying to improve Crackseeds, lads, this is it. This is the masterpiece, fully tweaked tactic that I'm finally happy with. Managed to beat Liverpool away back-to-back games with double the XG what they had. So he stands by this. He works perfectly for him. There are a couple of pieces of instructions that you can follow if you're chasing a goal, throw it to attack, things like that. Not a whole lot, no comments whatsoever. But we're going to check it out and see what happens. But like you'd see, it is not a standard 4-1-1-4, but you have a sweeper keeper in defense, two wingbacks on support on both sides, ball playing defenders on both sides. You have an anchor in defend as a DM, a box to box in support, an inverted winger on the left in attack, an inside forward on the right, a pressing forward in support, and then an advanced forward up front in attack. So that is your shape of it. It is a custom style, balanced mentality. In possession, you can see attacking with a standard approach play, pass into space is not there. Underlap on the left and right. I think that's the first time we've seen that. Focus play down the left and right and play out of defense. Passing directness is shorter. Tempo is higher. Whipped crosses this time. Work the ball into the box. Run at defense and be more expressive. In transition, counter press, distribute to the fullbacks and the center backs. And then out of possession, high press line of engagement, a standard defensive line. Trigger press more often and prevent short goalkeeper distributions. And no instructions right there. I'm assuming you're going to be doing it yourself. But how did it do for our three teams? Well, Tottenham got to third, which is fantastic. Wolves in fifth, getting European spots, but Newcastle all the way down in 12th. Wolves with 66 points is definitely higher than I would imagine them to be generally. And then Tottenham with 74, definitely higher than what they usually bring. But overall, a fantastic run by at least Tottenham and Wolves. Tottenham's schedule looks absolutely phenomenal. The only loss in the first 2 months is this 2-5 loss against Man City. That is a painful loss, but look at that sea of green. You got a Champions League loss against Milan, but just storming through everything else. EFL Cup you're going through, even in the second round, smashing Hull City. You do lose out to Manchester United. You lose out to Crystal Palace. But mother of God, I mean, EFL Cup just continuing on, Champions League continuing on, actually until this Barcelona match. So 1-1 draw away from home at Camp Nou at Barcelona, and then at home just 1-1 loss in penalties. That's painful to see. FA Cup quarterfinals, that is also painful to see. 1-5, just a smashing. But West Brom, EFL Cup final, you do get a cup there. You do get a trophy, 4-1. That's a great one. Unfortunately, the last 2 months of the season, 2 losses to start off, and then finishing off the entire season with 3. That's just painful. But still, you are in third spot. You really can't be too unhappy with that. Wolves not starting too bad either. You do have that 1 loss to Liverpool, but up until October, you're doing great. But then October, 3 losses, followed by a 4th in November. Not doing the greatest. You continue on in the second. You continue on in the EFL Cup 4th round, FA Cup, EFL Cup. You do get a smattering of more losses in there, a little bit more red. EFL Cup second leg and the first leg you lose out to West Brom, funny enough. And so you're out of that cup. FA Cup 5th round, you're out against Ipswich Town, 1-3. I'm guessing playing the youngsters or something. Hopefully you would have been able to beat that. But the rest of the season is just spotty. Newcastle not starting out very well. That first month, only a single win and a single draw to their name. Everything else red. EFL Cup second round, you're out immediately against Burnley. But however, after that, Wolves all the way down to this 2-5 against Brighton. That's a painful one. But even you got a draw against Tottenham. So you're doing fairly well after that. Second half of the season, not so much. You do continue on in the FA Cup. However, up until Fulham, 2-2 draw, but losing out in penalties. So that's it. The last month of the season is fantastic, and you only have 1 loss in the last 2 months. But still, yeah, not enough to pick it up too much farther. Transfer-wise for Tottenham, you do have Vignato from Brianza, Livakovic from Dynamo Zagreb for 8.5, Barbosa from whatever, 14.75, and then outs. You got Hugo Lloris does go out again. You got a couple. Sar goes out. You got a couple in there that we've seen mostly before. For Wolves, Manafa comes from Porto, and then Maximiano from Lazio for 10.5. And then out, you do have Jose Sa goes out to Porto for 15.25. Again, things we've seen before. Nothing new with Newcastle either. Kai Kennedy, Bamba, I think we've seen maybe once or twice. Van de Beek, we've already seen. And then outs, St. Maximin for 51 to Manchester City. So that is a big one right there. And definitely a very possible reason for why they failed miserably. But everyone else we've seen. Data hub wise, we are shaky in defense and very good in attack. As you can see, their attacking side is very nice. A couple of things like pass percentage and dribbles made, shots percentage. They are close to the Premier League average, but I think pass percentage may be just on. Everything else though is over, and some by a wide margin, which is great to see. Defending wise, you're pretty much at Premier League average. A couple of things, clearances per game, blocks per game, interceptions. Really could have picked it up, so the defensive side just wasn't there. They still came in third. Pretty much the exact same for Wolves. Shaky defensively, very good in attack. You can see a couple of smaller numbers here in attack, but still on or around the Premier League average. Higher up in the goals per game, things like that. So that's pretty good. A little bit better defensively, I kind of guess, except tackles per game. But clearances, blocks, you've got better interceptions per game here. But yeah, still defensive woes. Got to pick that up a bit. Newcastle still getting the same thing. Shaky defensively, very good in attack. Definitely not as good as Tottenham, as you could see, but everything's above, except maybe that clearances per cross completion, per game. But everything pretty much at or above Premier League average, which is nice. You have defending wise, you have better Blues. Fouls made per game, not great, through the roof a bit, but everything else is just slightly under. Whereas everyone else had, a little bit on the Premier League average and then some majors that weren't. But here, I guess a little bit overall better, but that fouls per game just hurts. Premier League overview, though. Most goals, Tottenham with 93. Very nicely done there. 74 for Wolves, 68 for Newcastle, all in the top 5. And then only Liverpool and Man City are in the top 5 as well. So as you can see, definitely an attacking game. I would not be surprised if no one was in these defensive categories. But fewest shots against, Tottenham and Wolves. Most possession, Tottenham and Wolves. Most dribbles made, Newcastle, there you go. Fewest conceded, Wolves. And most shutouts, Wolves with 12. I'm not too surprised considering they were 5th in the table. A lot higher than they generally find themselves. Most tackles won, nobody. I'm not surprised. Best pass completion, not too surprised. Most shots for the Wolves, Tottenham, and Newcastle all in there, and most points per game as standard stuff. Most goals, Haaland with 37, so kind of down from his normal tally, but Harry Kane with 26, Cunha with 19, Callum Wilson with 18, and Son with 18. So you've got some great numbers there for our teams. Most assists, Sarabia, Son, Kulusevski, Danjuma. You've got, some of those you see all the time. Some of those you see a lot of the time. Most player of the match awards, Haaland, of course. Harry Kane, that was 7. Cunha and Trippier with 6 apiece. Not too bad. Anyone else? Most dribbles made, Porro and Ait Nouri. Fewest conceded. You got Jose Sa there for the time he was there. Maximiano that was there. So I guess you're replacing one with another. So Maximiano was a fantastic pickup, and sell Jose Sa for whatever you can get, I guess. Most shutouts, though. Livakovic is in there. Most tackles won, nobody. Most key passes, you got Sarabia and Trippier as usual. Most shots, Isaac and Son, of course. I'm surprised Kerrigan's not in there, I guess. Player stats for Tottenham, Harry Kane with the top goal scorer with 36 goals over all competitions. Highest average rating as well, 744. Son with most assists with 20. And then Harry Kane, 12 Player of the Match awards. Not too shabby. For Wolves, top goal scorer was Cunha with 24. Neto with 715 average rating. Sarabia with 16 assists. Fantastic right there. Most Player of the Match awards, 6 for Cunha. Overall, definitely a pickup for Wolves in what we've seen most of this time. And then Newcastle, Callum Wilson with 19 goals, also with 721 assists. Trippier and Alexander Isaac with 10 assists apiece. And Trippier and Callum Wilson with 6 Player of the Match awards apiece. So, still, 54 points is not great, but they've got some okay numbers here. But Tottenham did get a trophy in there, so very nicely done, all in all. So, taking a look at it, Newcastle, you probably have to beef up your defense a bit. They need to pick it up defensively. They need a couple more, additions to the attacking side of things. St. Maximin, getting rid of him probably wasn't the smartest of ideas, keeping that season alive. But you're still well off relegation from 30 points, so I guess that's something. But anyway, that's it for me, Cephine FM for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.